WrestleMania was designed to be the ultimate clash, one that would decide who truly deserves the title of the greatest of all time.
There's nobody in this business that's a bigger icon than I am. It doesn't matter what you think!
It doesn't promise to still!
This event symbolized a battle between wrestling legends, Hogan representing the past and The Rock embodying the future.
It is icon versus icon! Wrestling past versus its future!
One unforgettable moment was when Hogan and The Rock exchanged a long, intense gaze.
Many in the crowd chanting for The Rock. Quite frankly, many in the crowd chanting for Hogan.
Creating an electric atmosphere in the arena. Fans erupted with chants for both superstars, showcasing their dual legacies.
Oh my God! What you gonna do, Rock?
The energy was palpable. It felt like witnessing a historic encounter between two titans for the first time.
The Rock will take his vitamins, but if I were you, I would send my prayers. The greatest match in the history of this industry, WrestleMania, Rock versus Hogan. There is no bigger because I've been in them all.
Hollywood Hulk Hogan faced off against the Great One, The Rock, in what was dubbed Icon versus Icon at WrestleMania 18. For me, this match epitomized a peak in wrestling history. While we may never see a matchup like Tyson versus Ali, we were fortunate enough to witness The Rock take on Hogan. It was a collision between two eras, the star of the 1980s against the superstar of the 1990s. This was a matchup fans never expected to see, yet here it was unfolding before our eyes. It was clear that this moment would be talked about for decades to come. The Rock's own journey into wrestling was undoubtedly influenced by someone as monumental as Hogan.
The man with the bionic biceps. My hero, your hero.
The best that there is.
He was not just a performer. He was an icon, a hero to many.
What are you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you?
Hogan possessed an unmatched charisma that resonated deeply with America's youth. His presence and aura captivated kids everywhere, inspiring them to emulate him. Hulkamania became a phenomenon that played a crucial role in elevating sports entertainment on a global scale. The foundation of Hulkamania inspired countless fans who believed in his message of training hard and taking vitamins.
How many millions and millions of people have seen this? There he is, the greatest professional athlete in the world today.
Hogan not only embodied a larger-than-life persona, but he also had the ability to connect with his fans on a personal level. He made them feel like they were part of something bigger, something special.
Grew up to be big Hulksters, man.
As a child, I idolized Hulk Hogan. Everyone wanted to be him. I remember when The Rock, at just 12 years old, attended an event at Madison Square Garden. Hogan tossed his white headband into the crowd, and young Rock caught it. An unforgettable moment for him. Afterward, he excitedly shared with Hogan that he had caught the headband. At the time, Hogan didn't think much of it, but he recognized The Rock as Rocky Johnson's son, never imagining they would one day face off in the ring.
Hogan has won the title for the fifth time!
Hogan had enjoyed a remarkable run as champion, holding the title 5 times over nearly a decade at the top of WWE. However, as the company shifted its focus toward a younger generation of wrestlers, Hogan found himself navigating new waters. When he made the switch to WCW in 1994, it sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. Although WCW was considered a secondary promotion compared to WWE, Hogan's move was revolutionary. However, his return to WCW didn't resonate as expected. Hulkamania began to feel outdated. Recognizing the need for a transformation, Hogan pivoted his character and launched an unforgettable promo that hinted at something big.
You fans can stick it, brother. As far as I'm concerned, all this crap in the ring represents these fans out here.
This marked the birth of the NWO and signaled the end of Hulkamania as fans once knew it.
You can call this the new world order of wrestling, brother.
I recall riding in a limousine with Hogan afterward. He was ecstatic about generating such intense reactions from the crowd. He was thrilled knowing that his actions had shaken the very foundation of professional wrestling and captivated the fans. Hogan's transformation from hero to villain was a game changer, and the birth of the NWO was a crucial moment in wrestling history.
NWO!
Ready or not, here we come!
Hulk Hogan! There's no yellow! There's no red! He's wearing black!
The significance of Hogan's transformation into a villain cannot be overstated. Suddenly, he became the coolest figure in wrestling, donning all black and sporting a rugged beard. This shift was a recipe for remarkable success. The NWO era not only redefined the perception of heroes and villains, but also shifted fan preferences toward edgier characters. The more controversial Hogan became, the louder the cheers grew. This period also paved the way for The Rock. When Hogan turned heel, Rocky Maivia entered the scene but struggled to make an impact.
Rocky Maivia! Rocky Johnson is dead, former WWF Tag Champion.
With his colorful tassels and vibrant attire, reminiscent of his father Rocky Johnson, Maivia seemed out of place. I remember watching his debut match and thinking he wasn't quite ready for the spotlight. However, everything changed once he grabbed the microphone. That's when I realized he had something special.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking!
As he started speaking, I knew we were in for something exciting. When The Rock grabbed the microphone, his natural charm and charisma were undeniable. I became a fan of The Rock, his entrance music,
A man who is simply electrifying.
his signature eyebrow raise, and his electrifying presence. It was evident to anyone watching that he was determined to excel.
The Rock is the WWF champion!
He was on a quest to become the WWF champion and was willing to do whatever it took to achieve that goal. And he did. What does it take to transition into a pop culture phenomenon? Hosting Saturday Night Live is one marker. Hulk Hogan did it in the mid-1980s, and then 15 years later, The Rock followed suit.
Ladies and gentlemen, The Rock!
This illustrates their status as icons, not just within wrestling, but far beyond it. The Rock is everywhere. He's not merely an entertainer, he's a global presence. While The Rock was expanding his reach outside of wrestling, WCW was floundering. WWE extended an offer that they couldn't refuse. I recall a meeting with producers where we discussed whether to bring Hogan back, considering potential locker room dynamics. However, both Pat Patterson and The Rock were adamant. A match between Rock and Hogan was essential. Iconic matchups like that are rare. We needed to make it happen quickly. Soon enough, wrestling legend Hulk Hogan was set to return to WWF. The organization confirmed that Hogan, along with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, would reunite as the NWO. The question arose, how was Hogan received backstage? While fans saw one side, many were curious about what really happened behind the scenes. Having been there, I can say that no one in the locker room had issues with Hogan or his crew. They were all professionals in the business together. When Hogan returned, the atmosphere was overwhelmingly positive. Everyone was eager to collaborate and make money together. During his time in WCW, Hogan was simply doing his job. Not only did Hogan inspire The Rock growing up, but he also came back as one of the hottest heels in the business thanks to the NWO. Hogan observed The Rock's work and quickly understood how to seamlessly integrate himself into this new dynamic, enhancing both their careers. The Rock's connection with the audience was undeniable, and he was already considered one of the best talents ever.
Damn!
Picture with The Rock.
Yes, sir.
For your son.
Yeah.
No problem.
Here's man.
Okay, you guys getting it ready?
Something for the people's taste.
What'd you just say? No. That's not what you just said. So you shouldn't have said that. Rock was being a man, no problem. Picture for your son, no problem. Hogan, you take that camera. It's already shined up. Turn sideways, eat your vitamins, say your prayers, and stick it straight up all your candy asses!
Hogan recognized this and played off it brilliantly. He knew how to work a crowd, and his expertise was a perfect complement to The Rock's natural charisma. After that unforgettable moment, anticipation for the next night on Raw was at an all-time high. Hulk Hogan made his return in phenomenal shape, looking as impressive as he did in 1986, if not even better. He appeared leaner and more tanned than ever, marking his comeback to WWE after nearly a decade away. I was eager to see how the nostalgia factor would resonate with the audience. Wrestling fans are known for their capacity to forgive. They can overlook past missteps if the moments are compelling enough.
You know, guys, it feels great to be back in this ring in the WWF.
At that time, I vividly recall Hogan being positioned as the heel while The Rock took on the role of the babyface. It was intriguing to think about how this dynamic would play out.
I mean, the WWF, and then you people turned on me. The WWF fans drove me out of the WWF.
Classic wrestling storytelling thrives on generating heat for the heel, and Hogan delivered a memorable promo.
I'm the one that made wrestling as big as it is today. There's nobody in this business that's a bigger icon than I am.
You could feel the energy in the arena. It was palpable. Fans suddenly realized they were witnessing something extraordinary.
Do you actually think that it was the people that drove you out of the WWF? Is that what you think? That's exactly. It doesn't matter what you think!
A once-in-a-lifetime event.
They love you! Well, Hulk Hogan, The Rock says, how do you feel about headlining one more WrestleMania with The Rock?
Oh my God! Hogan! He challenged Hogan for WrestleMania!
The iconic moment when Hogan and The Rock locked eyes felt like it lasted an eternity, and it truly did. I was filled with excitement because this was a monumental clash.
What makes you think you're even close to being a bigger star as I am? What makes you... Yes or no?
Yes or no? The idea of The Rock facing off against Hogan to determine who could be considered the greatest of all time, icon versus icon, was thrilling.
It'll be a pleasure to kick your ass at WrestleMania. So I say, let's do it. And by the way, Rock, good luck. Because you're gonna need it. Not as much as you. Mother.
WWE had expertly built this storyline. Hogan as part of the NWO and The Rock as the People's Champion. The NWO's assault on The Rock at the end of that segment was designed to generate maximum heat for Hogan while making The Rock's need for victory even more urgent. I still remember when they threw The Rock into the ambulance and locked all of the doors. That was a significant moment for building tension.
No, you gotta stop it!
The ambulance with The Rock inside was effectively kidnapped and driven away. Hogan driving a semi-truck toward him added another layer of intensity. Hogan had successfully generated heat through those actions.
Maybe I did get a little carried away last week, but I can tell you this, Rock, it felt real good to hurt you.
After being nearly taken out by the NWO just weeks earlier, The Rock made his triumphant return.
For the first time since being nearly crippled at the hands of the NWO a few weeks ago, The Rock has returned!
Even during the build-up, he had the crowd firmly behind him, creating the perfect atmosphere for WrestleMania. WrestleMania would be a clash of titans, icon versus icon, wrestling's past colliding with its future.
Look at you just standing there. You and your punk-ass friends. Who would have ever thought the man with 24-inch pythons would have half-inch testicles?
The stage was set for a match that would go down in history as one of the greatest ever.
WrestleMania, it is icon versus icon. Wrestling's past versus its future.
With Hogan embodying the spirit of the 80s and The Rock symbolizing the evolution of the sport, the main event had a unique layer of storytelling. Fans around the world were buzzing with anticipation for what promised to be an unforgettable night of wrestling.
To WrestleMania 18!
Here we have a guy in his mid to late 40s who still looks incredible, remains in great shape, and is as popular as ever. On the other hand, The Rock is a young man at the peak of his career. As fans around the globe gear up for WrestleMania 18, we often hear it referred to as the Super Bowl of wrestling.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can love him or you can hate him. Hollywood Hulk Hogan legend, the greatest icon in the history of sports entertainment.
For the matchup between The Rock and Hulk Hogan in Toronto, I positioned myself on the floor. I wanted to immerse myself in the audience's energy. Over 500,000 fans have attended WrestleMania events, and this man has headlined 9 of them since the beginning. Given the recent events involving their beloved hero, The Rock, like the hammer attack and the ambulance incident, I was uncertain about how the crowd would react when I stepped out. What took me by surprise was the overwhelming support for Hulk Hogan from the entire stadium. I could still hear the Sky Dome erupting with chants. With over 60,000 fans packed into the Sky Dome, many were chanting for The Rock, while others were equally vocal in their support for Hogan. You could feel the electricity in the air as the crowd erupted in a frenzy of cheers and excitement, eagerly anticipating the main event. The audience hadn't seen Hogan at WrestleMania in nearly 10 years, and his presence was undeniably larger than life. That's exactly how I felt. As the intensity built and the tension rose, so did the volume of the crowd. It sent chills down my spine. The energy was electric, with each side feeding off the other. This is a moment that will go down in history, a true WrestleMania spectacle. It felt as if the roof of the Sky Dome might just lift off. The intensity was palpable. Just look at all those flashbulbs. It was a rare sight witnessing these two titans poised for that brief instant. In many ways, it's hard to believe it actually happened. When they both turned to face the audience, the anticipation was off the charts. Here stood a child who had once idolized his hero. Millions around the globe were tuned in, and they simply stood there. There was no commentary, no action, just two legends facing off, and it felt surreal. It was incredibly exciting. This wasn't just silence, it was a moment you could truly feel. The live crowd created an atmosphere that demanded you either rise to the occasion or falter, and you were diving headfirst into the heat of it all. The anticipation in the air was palpable. Every moment felt like a potential flashpoint. The suspense was growing, and the crowd was getting louder and louder, waiting for the first move.
King. Look at the power of those pythons! And Hogan is saying to Rock, you just bring it, buddy. Oh, man!
The audience was completely absorbed in the match like I've never seen before, and perhaps haven't seen since. It was unlike anything else. Now, The Rock was challenging Hogan to step up. I sprinted across the ropes, and it felt chaotic yet exhilarating. There's something special about performing. The crowd fuels your energy. Hogan was such a professional, he powered through it all. At that time, the ultimate dream match was Rock versus Hogan. Nothing was wasted in that encounter. Every moment counted. The pacing was masterful. Hogan came from a time when you wanted to create those moments that made fans turn to each other and say, "Did you see that?" The crowd was completely behind Hogan. Before I knew it, I found myself cheering for him too. It's remarkable how solidly the audience supported Hogan. When you hear the crowd roar, there's no greater feeling. As a performer, the audience's reaction is what you live for.
And look at Hogan! Hogan with a rock bottom! No! It's amazing that the crowd is so solidly behind.
I wonder what The Rock was thinking in that moment. Thank goodness The Rock was the right person for this match, because I can't imagine many others who could have pulled it off like he did. Few wrestlers receive this level of adoration from fans. That match perfectly encapsulated the idea of bringing the curtain down on one era and ushering in another. The fans have been with Hogan for so long, and their support really showcased the respect they have for his contributions.
What you gonna do, Rock? My God, The Rock can't believe it!
It dawned on Hogan just how much these people appreciated him more than he ever realized. Who could have imagined that the young upstart would find himself paying homage to the veteran? That's exactly what happened. Despite having cracked ribs, which made things incredibly tough for him, Hogan pushed through. He was exhausted, but he persevered.
Has reached down. Here it comes!
The fact that they could put on such an incredible match was truly remarkable. Hogan gave it everything he had. You have to admire that. Just look at this moment. Hogan extending his hand in a gesture of respect.
Hogan extending his hand.
It meant so much more than just a handshake. In that moment, you could sense the respect and admiration between these two icons. That's who he is. He's a genuinely good person. I can't believe it, but it reminded me of the last time we saw something like this. A handshake and a hug that conveyed they had truly created something special together. It came from a sincere place. It was amazing to witness these two iconic figures, especially at such different stages in their careers, come together and create unforgettable moments. Look at The Rock. He wanted Hogan to strike a pose, and he embraced the moment fully.
I love this. One more time. Look at The Rock. The Rock wanted Hogan to pose.
That's why he was the perfect person for this occasion. The Rock was thrilled to share in that magic, as he had experienced many high points throughout his career. And this was one of those truly special moments that he was proud to be part of. The respect and admiration between them was undeniable. You could sense that The Rock cherished this moment just as much as Hogan did. It was a meeting of two eras, two legends, and it created an iconic moment that will never be forgotten by wrestling fans everywhere. WrestleMania is where dreams become a reality, and witnessing Hogan and The Rock share a moment of mutual respect felt surreal. Hogan has contributed immensely to the wrestling industry, making it truly remarkable. It was a privilege to symbolize the passing of the torch to him. This symbolic gesture with hands raised in acknowledgement was more than just a moment. For The Rock, it was an honor to compete in this match. It caught everyone off guard. Neither Hogan nor The Rock anticipated the impact it would have. Suddenly, an iconic moment unfolded. What makes WrestleMania memorable each year? It's the incredible matches and the talent showcased. Yet this particular event stands out in everyone's minds.
The true colors of the Hulkster. The bright red. The bright yellow. Hulk Hogan is back.
The love and admiration shown towards Hogan were extraordinary. It reaffirmed his decision to leave college, where he was studying finance and management, to pursue wrestling. He felt validated in his choice, realizing he made the right call all along. From the fans to the performers, everyone involved in that moment recognized that they had witnessed a unique piece of wrestling history. This ovation wasn't merely about nostalgia. It was a genuine acknowledgement of his profound influence on the industry. Fast forward 12 years to WrestleMania 30, where The Rock and Hulk Hogan kicked off the event alongside Stone Cold Steve Austin. Together, these legends reshaped WWE history, a monumental moment in the modern era. It was a momentous event that celebrated the legacies of these three icons. Despite their differences, their mutual respect was evident, and their shared love for the industry was palpable. Imagine if The Rock and Hulk Hogan had faced off in their prime. Well, it happened at WrestleMania 18. It's unlikely we'll see two superstars create such magic again in our lifetime. The objective was to deliver the most epic matchup ever, one that would spark debates about who truly is the greatest of all time. That night was one of the most unforgettable experiences for both of them, a significant piece of history that reminds us of their lasting legacy.